this. Okay. From here on out. All right, so here we are going to look at this as a graph where you warm up for gym class, play basketball, then cool down. Okay, so time is always the x-axis. I want you to just sketch the graph. Don't worry about the description because we'll label the description so you'll know what we're talking about. And, you know, when you're warming up, the idea is that you're getting your heart rate going. So the y-axis is going to be heart rate. So when we start to graph this, we have a heart rate. I mean, unless we're not alive, of course, then we don't have a heart rate. But if we have a heart rate, our graph is going to start a little bit higher up, somewhere right there. So our heart rate's going to gradually increase. So this would be the warm-up piece. Then we start to play ball. So our heart rate's going to kind of peak a little bit and then level off. So this would be where you're playing. Then from there, you stop playing and you start drinking your water, you start cooling down. So then this would be your cool down. So anytime there's like a heart rate or distance involved, we tend to, use the slope of the line to decide how quickly it's rising. So the warm up, your heart rate's not going to rise super fast, but the second you start playing, it's going to go up a little bit quicker, right? And it could maintain, it could fluctuate or whatever, but it's more constant while you're playing. And then, of course, when you cool down, it's going to start to drop. It's kind of cool because I have a Fitbit and it actually shows me the same, on my phone, it'll show me how that works out. All right, for the next one, I want you to try to graph this one. I'll get you set up, but I want you to draw this one on your own. So first of all, time is always the x-axis. And in this case, the y is temperature. So I want you to sketch this one on your own for me. Let's see if you can get this one. You should be using pencil it's your best bet so that if you have to make changes, you can. If you're not sure, don't graph it, and then we'll graph it together. I'll give you a second to figure that one out. Again, in the morning, it starts to warm up, stays the same during the day, and then cools down and then levels off again at night. Now let's look at these next one. These are time and distance. These are a little bit. So time is still going to be the x-axis. But this time we're talking about distance from school. These are super important. So if you're going to write anything down, write these down for sure because these are going to be just like your homework. All right, so if this is distance from school, we're going to treat this as 0, 0. Because this is 0, 0, this means you're at school, right? Because that's your distance. You haven't left from school. So this is your at school. And let's say you live 5 miles from school. I know that's not realistic, but you live 5 miles from school. So this would be where home is. So in other words, when you're at school, you're 0 miles from school because you're actually there. When you're at home, you're 5 miles from school because you're at home. So if we're talking about you leaving your house and walk to school, you're here at home. And you slowly or you gradually start walking to school, so then you'll end up at school, which is here. But the time has gone by, right? That's why the line has an angle to it, because the time is going by and you're moving away from home. Okay? Now let's look at the opposite situation. The opposite situation here is that we have time again. We still have our distance from school. This is still 0 and this is still 5. Go ahead and set that up. So again, you start at school, you walk home, or you start at school, you make a stop here, and then you continue to walk. All right, this last slide, you don't have to write anything down. I wanted you to see it. I felt like this was a good visual for graphs. I know it's very busy. That's why I'm not going to have you write it down. But you do have access to this in Schoology, just so you can have it as a reference. I liked it because it gives you, the ideas about the flat line being stationary, the constant speeds, and all of that. So I like that. And you do have access to it in Schoology if you need to refer to it during your homework. It's a good tool to use. Okay? All right. I am done. You